Today, we're diving into one of the biggest what-ifs in American history. We're talking about a moment where the United States almost had a king instead of a president. It all came down to one man, and the choice he made would literally shape the nation as we know it. So just for a second, I want you to picture a totally different America, a version of the country that went down a very, very different path. An America with no campaign ads, no voting, no debates for the most powerful job in the country. An America where the whole idea of a leader chosen by the people for just a few years, well, it just doesn't exist.
That's right, a throne, a royal family, a monarch ruling the nation for life. It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but what's so incredible is that this almost happened.
And I mean it. This wasn't just some crazy idea someone floated. After the revolution, the new nation was standing at a major fork in the road, and the path to having its own king was right there. It was a real possibility. And the person at the very center of this whole thing, it was the leader of the revolution himself, George Washington. The choice he was about to make would set the course for what power would look like in America forever. Okay, so to really understand why offering someone a crown was such a bombshell, we've got to remember what the American Revolution was even about. I mean, it wasn't just a fight over territory. It was a war against the very idea of being ruled by a king. So before it was the United States, America was just a bunch of colonies. And who was in charge? One man, King George III of Britain. He was calling all the shots, imposing taxes, making laws, from thousands of miles away, and the colonists had zero say in any of it. You can really see how things spiraled. For years, you had this growing frustration over British rule, which slowly turned into real anger. By 1775, that anger just exploded into an all-out war. And after 8 long years, the colonies did something nobody thought was possible. They beat a global superpower and won their freedom. And this is the climax of the story. The war is finally over, America is free, and every single eye in the country is on General George Washington. He had a choice to make: grab power for himself or set an example for generations to come. I mean, you can't overstate the position Washington was in. He was a national hero, his soldiers adored him, the people trusted him completely. He had more real power and influence than anyone by a long shot. And then the unbelievable happens. Some of his own officers, they're frustrated with the weak government. They're worried they won't get paid. They quietly come to him with this radical idea. They suggest that Washington should just take over, not as a president, as a king. Think about that. They had just fought a war to get rid of one king, and now they were asking for a new one. So he's looking at 2 completely different futures. Path 1, become king. Take the crown, lock down power. It's what basically every victorious general in history had done. Or path 2, do something that was pretty much unheard of. Refuse the power, step down, and put all your faith in this new, fragile experiment of a republic. And you really have to get this. What Washington did next was just, well, it was almost unthinkable at the time. All through history, when a general won a war, he became the new ruler. It's just what you did. For a leader to win everything and then just hand that power back, it was shocking. And yet, he said no. He refused the crown. That one decision, to say no, set the stage for something the world had rarely seen before. It paved the way for a republic. This wild experiment in self-government. And believe me, the rest of the world was watching very closely to see if it would work. So a few years later, when the founders got together to write the Constitution, you can bet they remembered this moment. They designed the whole system to be an anti-monarchy machine. No crown, no royal succession, no ruler for life. It created a president, not a king. And here's the kicker. Washington didn't just give up power once. He made a habit of it. First, he resigns as commander of the army and just goes back to his farm. Then, after being elected the first president, he serves 2 terms and does the unthinkable all over again. He voluntarily walks away, setting the precedent for the peaceful transfer of power that's been the bedrock of American democracy ever since. But, the story doesn't quite end there. Washington's choice stopped a monarchy from happening, for sure. But it didn't get rid of the temptations of power itself. And that leaves us with a question that people are still asking today. So here's something to chew on. By choosing a president instead of a king, did America really escape the idea of concentrated power? Or did it just give it a new title and a different rule book? Because if history teaches us anything, it's that power is a stubborn thing. It doesn't just go away, it adapts, it evolves, it just finds a new form. Thanks for tuning in.